Well, good afternoon and welcome to CBM Calling, special edition here on July 7th. Louise and I are going to be joined by a couple of guests, and we're going to be talking about Louise's favorite topic, latrines in El Salvador. Louise, you were there, it was just this past March, right?
Yeah. First week of March, we were in Metalillo, El Salvador, helping to build composting latrines.
Yeah, and I've had the chance to visit the project a couple other times. It's just an amazing part of the world. I love the beauty of El Salvador, the beauty of the Salvadoran people, and the local church and the way they're making a difference in their community. One of the things that we are going to be talking a lot about today, again, is latrines. And it's something we don't think a lot about here in North America, where we, flush the toilet and don't give it a second thought. But actually, the use of latrines at home and the clean water is a real issue in many parts of the world, and rural El Salvador would be one of those. Actually, 40% of the population in rural El Salvador do not have access to latrines at home. This is actually a significant justice issue. It's a significant health issue, because when latrines aren't used at home, or other pit latrines that flood are used at home, it affects water table quality, it affects health, and we see people that deal with intestinal sickness. In fact, in El Salvador, the second leading cause of medical visits is intestinal parasites, which are directly related to contamination of the water table by fecal bacteria. Latrines literally save lives, as the local church is helping. So Louise and I are going to be joined by some guests. We're going to talk about this. 80% reduction in water table pollution and 40% reduction in intestinal sickness is what we see when latrines are used at home. So in El Salvador, we're partnering with the local church in communities like Metalillo. And let's talk more about that. We're going to be joined by Joel Murphy and Kari Broad, who were in El Salvador with Louise. So welcome, Joel and Kari.
Hello.
All three of you were in El Salvador this past March. You were actually one of the last teams that we were able to send before COVID-19 shut down international travel. You were part of helping that local church provide latrines to people in need. I wonder, maybe just as we start, could each of you share a highlight of your time in March? What stands out to you of God at work in that time? Maybe Kari?
Yeah, so there's so many things that just, it was amazing to see God working in such amazing ways through the local church in El Salvador. But I think the thing that stood out to me the most is that we went to help meet the physical needs of the people of El Salvador and help to build these latrines, but to see the greater impact within the community when the local church gets involved. And being able to see, sitting down and hearing stories about how, because of projects like this, where they're getting in the community, they're meeting physical needs that help save lives, but how that translates for God to be able to move and draw people closer to Him, and not only our lives being saved for Jesus because of the first connection point of the physical need being met, a spiritual need is then met, but then beyond that, how that completely infiltrates the community, and how the community that we were in was a place that had such a high crime rate 5 years ago that it was considered a red zone, and so people did not go. And because of the local church being involved, meeting physical needs, telling people about Jesus, and lives being changed spiritually and physically, it's through that there's been huge impact, where now it's a relatively safe community, and that there is changes happening within the government and even beyond because of it.
That's amazing. The proclamation and the demonstration of the gospel and the difference.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had the same experience. Walked through a village, a town, and was told, 2 years ago you couldn't be here.
Right, exactly.
Outsider. You wouldn't have been safe. but the difference the church is making. Joel, how about you?
Yeah, this is why you don't go second, because Kari, that was really one of the big pieces for me. I think that, like you said, there's something that's it's a miraculous piece when the church is involved in community, and I think the opportunity for us to partner with the church was really what stood out for me. Like speaking, and like we didn't know what we were doing. We were a team of we came together through our one conference, and it was awesome, and I loved our team, and we had a lot of fun, but we didn't know how to make latrines. It was not part of my education. But the thing that happened when we were there, and when we were working with the Masons and we were meeting the families, like it's powerful, because it shows that we're not coming in and building this as this is what we're telling you what you need. It was brought and led by members of the local church and by leaders of the local church. Every site that we went to, the pastor would be with us, or leaders from the congregation would be with us, and it's them, right? Like they are the ones that leading, and we're here to support and encourage and offer what we can. But I think that was a thing that it felt pretty special to be able to come in and partner with the church, and to see the impact that it was making. Like there's all the statistical pieces of safety and health, which are integral and which we take for granted. Majority of North American communities, we have that, and there are some that don't, which we need to remember, but it was a privilege to be able to participate in that. But then seeing the church like really doing it, and really like changing, and like Kari said, like it wasn't necessarily we weren't running around with the Bible telling people like you need Jesus. We were there serving their needs, and like, why are you doing this? And that's what the pastor said. Like we will, like he was prophesizing over people, saying this person will be a Christian in a number of years, and like that was pretty. He will be a pastor. Like we went to a home visit, and that's what he said about one of the young men that we were with, and it was a privilege, and I think it was very provoking. I've been on a number of different trips like this, and for me it shifted something. So the highlight was being able to participate and like receive from that and see the changes that it was happening in the communities.
Yeah, the beauty of partnership in the local church. It's really the face of work that we do all over the world. It's the local church. Louise, what about you? What was a highlight for you?
Yeah, so lots of highlights. It had been 10 years since I was last in El Salvador. I had been 10 years ago with CBM. So just incredible to be back and to visit a country for the second time, and to see the changes, and to be able to ask good questions and just learn more. But a highlight for me as working with SENT would be our partnership with the One Conference. This, of course, was a OneCon trip. And if you don't know what OneCon is, it's this incredible multi-denominational youth event with over 3,000 students and leaders. And Adrian and I, we were there in 2018. And then in 2019, we were there at the SENT booth. We showed up with all of our poop emoji stuff, like this t-shirt and tattoos and buttons, and we were throwing unicorn foam poop emojis into a toilet to engage students, and to invite them to learn about latrines, to invite them to pray for communities and churches in El Salvador, to give them an opportunity to give through an offering that we took up there, which raised about $6,000. And we also invited them to come to El Salvador with us. And so to see that partnership over several years come to fruition this past March was really wonderful. It was just a great team of students and leaders as well. And I was really grateful to be a part of it. And we always work in partnerships. So this OneCon partnership is a highlight. The partnership between OneCon and SENT, our partner in El Salvador in Lance, and their partnerships with the local churches, and then the local churches who partner with their communities. It's not without a lot of work that a student from Atlantic Canada can be invited into a home, into the kitchen, in a home in rural El Salvador, and taught to make tortillas while our team waits outside, waiting for the cement to dry on the latrine that we're building together with their family, with the church, with the community. And these are experiences that are made possible because of partnerships.
Yeah, One Conference is amazing. The vision of inviting people to worship one God together and to be on one mission. We love the partnership, and it was so disappointing that we weren't able to be with you this year. Now God's got it all under control, but we can still be disappointed. COVID led to the cancellation of that event, or it was so disappointing. At the same time, Louise and I have been thinking and working, and our team at SENT have been dreaming about how do we continue to ask students and invite students to be part of one mission? How do we invite them to be active in missions? So breaking news, we have and are launching today this new campaign called Active in Mission.
Yeah, and we've got a really short video that we want to show you as a promo. So we are inviting you to stay active in mission this summer. If you are a youth, invite your youth group. If you are an adult, grab your family, maybe your small group from your church, your neighbors, whoever is in your community. We invite you to take part in Active in Mission. It's very simple. You just need to register at Activeinmission.ca, fundraise online through the platform that you can set up there, and then get active. Choose what you want to do, whether it's walk, run, bike, kayak, hula hoop, jump, skip, do somersaults, whatever it might be. We invite you to do that and to get sponsors as you do so. If I can stay on theme a little bit and use the word crappy, 2020 has been a crappy year so far. I think we would agree right around the world, but it's only half over. It's only July, and so we're going to turn it around. In 2020, so far, we have built 20 latrines, and it's our goal that we will build 20 more, and we need your help with that. So we invite you to register, to fundraise, and to get active at Activeinmission.ca.
It's great, and it's a way for people to participate and be active in mission in a COVID-friendly way. So if you're in a province where you can do this as a small group, socially distant, go for it. Get your team together. If you're in a place where you need to just be by yourself, that you can do this by yourself. It's all very flexible in terms of the activity. You just need to say what you're going to do and then actually do what you commit to, and raise support as we help the local church. Okay, I want to bring it back, Joel and Kari, to the actual project. I mentioned at the beginning some stats and things, but you saw firsthand the impact of the latrine project. So when you think about this, could you maybe just say a little bit more about why you would encourage people to raise funds for the local church in El Salvador to help with latrines?
Yeah, so I think one of the things I would say is that just because the world is shut down in many ways, there's two things that are still going to continue to happen. People are still going to need to be able to use the bathroom, and if not more. And the second one, or actually should be the first, Jesus is still going to move. And so it's a chance for us as the church to continue to be active in his mission of what he's doing. And there's a lot of restrictions to how we can do these sort of things these days. But this is a way for us, no matter where you are, who you are, to put our faith in action. And I can attest that it will go to good use, and it will genuinely change lives. And so this would be a great thing to, like I said, your youth group, your family, your neighborhood, to whatever it is to get involved in.
Yeah, I think I would echo that. I think um, the reality is that while things might feel like they paused, the world is still moving. And I think particularly as we think about kind of the struggles of the season, maybe of isolation or um, laziness or whatever may be in place, I think that this type of activity or experience could actually be really meaningful for people. I think, again, based on where you are and adhering to restrictions and whatnot, like I've spoken with youth pastors who said that when their youth saw each other when they first came back for a youth group, physical youth group, respecting physical distancing and all that jazz, the youth cried. And I think about it for a lot of here out east, we had our bubble open up, and so we're able to see family members from across provinces, and so there's something about doing something together. I think is really important, and the project itself, I think it is worth it. Like Kari said, like I think the change that we saw, the work, the posture that Enlace takes, that Sent takes, that the students are receiving, that the local church is doing, it felt like the gospel. And so I think like be able to participate in that is just good, and then being able to have the flexibility in this time to hopefully be maybe being people together, challenge one another. I think there's a lot of benefits in that.
Yeah, thanks. It really was inspiring to watch the local church in Metaleo impact their community through this initiative. The stories that we heard, the homes that we visited, the pastor that we worked alongside, who was just so grateful for our presence there, which was mind-boggling to us. I mean, we felt so privileged to be able to be there and to be invited into these communities, to see people's homes, to see their way of life, to take part in their worship service, to be prayed for and cared for. It was just a beautiful partnership. So thanks for highlighting some of those things. And we're inviting everybody to take part in Active Admission in this challenge. Anybody in churches, youth groups, to be part of it. But Joel and Kari, I'm wondering, is there anybody in particular that you personally want to challenge to take part in Active Admission?
I don't like this question. I think it's I'm not going to name people. I know maybe that's what you're looking for. I have a list of people that I could call out, and I'm not going to. I would encourage, even though that might be good TV, I don't know. I think that is worthwhile as a youth practitioner, inviting people together. I would love to see challenges and competition between family members. I saw some going on that with Facebook. Adrian, I saw some stuff going back and forth with your dad, which I think is awesome. I think it's a good opportunity to be able to engage your people. Even as a church leader, how can we engage both youth? Maybe our youth group can challenge the deacons. I would love that, actually. That's what I encourage. I encourage youth groups to call out deacon boards and say, we can fundraise more money than you, and see what happens. Or elders, or whomever you have in your level of leadership. I think that's who I challenge. Young people to take on the leaders in the church and raise more money than them.
Love it. I love it.
Nice
Kari,
save, Joel.
Yeah.
I'm not going to challenge you specifically, but who I am going to challenge is my small group. I'm a small group leader for grade 6 and 7 girls. And so I'm going to challenge them for us to take it on as a project together and see what we can do. And I really think it's going to bless them just as much as it's going to have a chance to bless other people.
That's great. You're both very kind. Kinder than me, because I'm going to challenge 2 people publicly that I think should do this. One, Joel, you already mentioned, is my father, so he has to be nice to me no matter what I say on a Facebook live stream. So Harry Gardner, it's time to get active. You're retired, but you can still move. So you're on. And for my good friend and former colleague who runs all over the world in terms of distance, Renee McVicker. Let's see if the McVicker family can top the Gardner family. There are two types of people, right? There's the cooperative people. So Louise would say she has no competitive spirit. So Louise, you can encourage people to all work together to meet our goal of $15,000 so all the latrines get met. And then there's the competitive people like myself, and I will challenge people and we will have those fun competitions. But in the end, it's to help the local church proclaim and demonstrate the gospel in a practical way through the latrines. Our family is going to commit to walking 75 kilometers either the week of August 9th. And so 75K for $750 is our goal to raise, which is the cost of one latrine. Have either of you, any of you thought about what you're going to do for the Get Active piece?
Well, my wife Kathleen has already got a head start on me in terms of running. So I feel like I need to, we're wanting to move towards doing a 10K race, and this is good motivation and important motivation to help that active piece. But I think I'm gonna commit to that in terms of running a 10K, and then I'll probably be inviting, I work in our Atlantic Baptist Convention, I'm gonna invite my team and maybe some of our youth pastors to be able to hop on board. And I think it'll be a good thing. That's kind of what I'm aiming towards. That's my goal.
I'm going to bring my small group in on it to help decide together what we're going to do. My guess is we're probably going to end up running, but maybe they'll help come up with something a little bit more creative and maybe even a little bit more silly. But we're, yeah, so we'll figure that out together because then they'll have more buy-in.
I'm planning to do a walk swim combination with some friends, building a team. We're called Courtesy Flush.
And really, there's no limit to what you can choose to do. Be creative. For example, we're going to throw now to a video from our executive director, Terry Smith, and he's going to talk about what he's committing to do for the challenge.
This year, CBM is sponsoring the OneCon Latrine in El Salvador project. In partnership with our brothers and sisters in Enlace, we are trying to build latrines for poor communities. So whether you cycle, bike, walk, run, kayak, swim, pick an activity, create a team, find sponsors. I need 15 people who will sponsor me $50 each. As I kayak 50 kilometers that weekend, we will be able to raise enough money for one latrine in El Salvador. I'm counting on your help. Take out your credit cards and contribute now.
So if Terry can kayak and raise funds, you can do anything you'd like. Be creative, register Active Emission, fundraise online, and then get active and post about it on social media. I want to say thanks to you for watching. Thanks to Kari and to Joel for joining us, and for your friendship, your partnership with this project. Want to bring it right back to where we started and conclude today by reinforcing that latrines save lives, lives that are created in the image of God with worth and value and dignity. And God is at work through his church in rural El Salvador. He's at work through his church all over the world. But with this project, we get to get a glimpse of how God is at work through his people in rural El Salvador, making a difference, latrines saving lives. So thanks for being part of it. I invite you to, again, register, fundraise, get active. We'll be talking more about this on Thursday. We've focused on sort of the youth element today. And as I said, there's no age limit. So we'll talk a bit more on Thursday at the same time, getting Active Emission. Again, thanks everyone for joining us. We'll talk soon. See you.
Thank you.